Hi, Charity Hyams here with the Widows Survival groups and Living On with Charity. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about the holidays because we are a couple of days before Thanksgiving and a month before Christmas and a little over a month before um, New Year's. And the darkest period, or at least for most US citizens, the winter. And it can be it can compound our grief. It can compound our responsibilities. It takes our kids out of school again. We have to supply special meals, decorations, gifts, and it can be overwhelming and quite a sad time of year because we are missing our loved ones. Some of my top three advice for the holidays is plan to do what you feel you can do. If you feel like I can decorate the house minimally, that's okay. You can put up a tree or, put up a already put together tree and light that up, and it's okay. I live in Vermont, and so for the first 2 years, I actually really decorated the house, but it was because the lights made me happier than how dark it was in Vermont all the time through the winter. So whatever works for you, it's okay. I give you permission to not decorate fully this year, and you can, with the kids, if they're like, well, why aren't we putting all of this up or whatever, you can be like, why don't you make some decorations and we will hang them up? And that will give them something to do for a little bit. The other thing is always have an exit strategy. So if you are going to go somewhere for a holiday, which I know a lot of us cannot this year, always have your excuse ready to leave and know that you're allowed to use it. And it doesn't even have to be a good one. I mean, I always feel like honesty is the best policy, and just to be like, I'm overwhelmed and I'm tired and I need to go home. But if you can't get there, that's okay. So just be like, you know what? I forgot to let the dog out, or I realized that we had to get up early tomorrow. Whatever it is, just have an excuse ready so that if you feel overwhelmed or you're done, that you can leave. And that's okay. You are allowed to. I give you permission. The other thing that I would say sometimes helps is to change things up. So if you, and I know this is hard with kids, so it's a fine line, but if you feel like, okay, so we always took out the artificial tree for Christmas. If, go get a real tree. Make a memory that does not involve your spouse. Because a lot of times when we make memories that don't involve directly our spouses, we can experience them more fully. and not feel as sad when we do them. If you didn't ever go to church on Christmas Eve, and then go to church on Christmas Eve. If you always went to church on Christmas Eve, have a little party Christmas Eve. And I know, again, that we are in the midst of coronavirus, and a lot of things with other families is not necessarily as possible, especially in some states. So the nice thing about kids is if you pull out a board game and sparkling cider, you can call almost anything a party. But those are going to be three workarounds that you can do to be more in charge of your holiday and to get through it and hopefully experience some of the joy, as much of the joy as you can. With Thanksgiving, if it feels too much to cook, look into a restaurant that can pack it up and give it to you. If anything that makes it easier that you can do. And if you have someone that has been kind enough to ask what you need in the holidays, take them up on it. If someone asks to what they could do for you, and it's take the kids shopping, tell them. If it's, I really am having trouble thinking about making these meals, tell them. If it's, I'm struggling with how to buy my kids presents, tell them. Because a lot of times it is our fault that we don't actually let people in enough to know what's going on. So those are just a couple of the things that I would say to do, and realize that it's going to be different, and realize that you are allowed to feel your feelings, and you are allowed to express those feelings in front of your children. I cry every birthday that my kids have. I cry every holiday that we have, because grief is love, and love doesn't go away. And my kids know this. My son's birthday was Sunday, and he's like, "Oh, you're crying. Are you missing Dado?" And I said, "Yes, because you're so big." And he would be so proud of you. But you are allowed to have those feelings. So I wish you as much love and peace that can be offered to you on these holidays. And start setting things up now so that you are supporting yourself. You have to support yourself, because let's just face it, not even people that want to aren't going to necessarily know how to. So set them up to support yourself. Reach out if you need help, and we'll make it through together. It's easier to walk when we're together. So much love.